We have Kajim-Roach on the mic today, the one and only Kajim-Roach on our video podcast series, Business One-on-One. I actually am really looking forward to this conversation with you. You have established yourself as one of the go-tos to be able to advise people on the right way to conduct and to go about setting up their online business.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here today. You didn't have to. It's actually Republic Day, so it's a holiday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You see, I only remember that this morning, actually. I was like, oh, shucks, I booked him on a holiday. So, like, the fact that he doesn't even, yeah, that's the entrepreneur life, right?
Exactly.
Just to know when these things happen. What is that? So, I hope you guys enjoy this video and this podcast today. You're going to learn a lot of things in relation to setting up an online business, the payment facilities that you can use, and the tools and systems that we have in relation to the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago setting, so that you guys can roll forward with launching and successfully, conducting your business online in the way that would drive the most success towards it.
Yes.
So let's get into it. You have an online business yourself.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the business and the brand that is Kajim-Roach.
Yes, no problem. So everything started with Droid Island. So this is probably initially where me and you met some years ago when I just came to Trinidad, right? It started off as just a blog. The problem I was trying to solve was when I moved to Trinidad, I'd go into these different phone stores and I'm listening to the sales reps sell the technology, and I realized, yo, these sales reps are saying anything to sell the phone. Like, it drew my attention overhearing a rep when he was talking about some client asked, hey, is this phone waterproof? The person said, yeah, boy, you could take this phone, you could go in the ocean, you could find Nemo with the phone. And I'm sitting there like, geez, wow, okay. Learn something new. Can't be done, but whatever, cool. So I realized that this was a common thing where people were not getting the right information about the technology. And as you know, because you guys have a beautiful setup here, understanding the technology and making sure that it works for your needs is paramount to the success of whatever you're doing.
Definitely.
So if we don't have a resource that is educating on how these things work and what your needs are, and if you have a product that fits it, we're going to run into problems. So I decided, okay, since I was 19, I've been in the telecommunications industry. I've worked for Apple for a couple of years as well, and that really conditioned my mind and how I talk about tech and teach on it.
Yeah.
Let me do a blog.
Right.
And that blog was educating on the content.
And the blogs you're doing as well, the vlogs, were they reviews on those products as well?
It was a bit more because I was teaching how to use everything.
Right.
Because my thing was I was selling the products that were not Apple or Samsung, right? So I was giving
all
you
the different types of
right. So I was teaching more than just the reviews on it and how it works, but teaching you how to run your business from a phone with dual SIM and the different applications you need. So I was taking it a step further.
Yeah.
Fast forward, it turned into a store. So I had a store in Europe where I was actually selling the products, but I was also creating content. And then when I started to get companies coming at me, wanted to work with me, and I realized, wait a minute, what I get paid for my content is a whole lot more than what I would make selling products.
Yeah.
My goal was to stop selling the products, but because people kept bugging me about, hey, you are the only man selling a lot of these phones, it forced me to learn how to change my blog to an e-commerce platform. So once I started to do more content, work with the various companies and do more content, I was more visible in the public. That was a traffic driver to my e-commerce store, where people are now going online and purchasing the products. But I had to learn how to build an e-commerce site from a blog. So in the process of doing Droid Island, I learned a lot of these skills. And then it started to, about 2018, I started to get more people asking me about, who built your website? How are you doing e-commerce? How are you doing content marketing? How is it that every time I Google something, we're finding you? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? And I ran away from teaching anything for a year and a half. And then 2019 hit, and noise just started to get louder and louder. And I started to teach. I started to do workshops. And then from the workshops in 2019, I turned Kajim-Roach. That was supposed to be a personal blog just detailing my life from moving from Canada to the Caribbean and starting a business or whatever. It turned into a basically how to do e-commerce platform, and it's just grown from there into the other things that I'm doing right now.
Your story is one that speaks to, you know, it was just doors opening. Like, you're just trying different things and you just saw opportunities that came your way as a result of that. And we preach a lot of that in our series where we talk about, you know, it's good to just dibble and dabble in different things. Try your hand at different things. Even if you're afraid, you don't know if you're going to work. Just try it. You never know. And I want to speak a little bit about that with you, especially because you are the epitome of what that story entails. You know,
it really starts with that passion. What can you see yourself doing day in and day out when people feel like maybe their passion doesn't make money? And one thing that the digital age has allowed is that you could be here in Trinidad and it might not be a thing here, but you can access an online community of people anywhere in this world and tap into either other communities in other countries and sell products and services and never earn $1 in Trinidad. Instead, you are serving people in the UK and earning pounds because your interest is a big thing somewhere else. That's what the digital age has allowed people to do. So for me, it was... I've been, and I joke about this, I've been the friendly neighborhood tech boss since I was 6. As I got older, I turned 19 and I started to work in telecommunications. I realized, I love the technology. I love smartphones, but I love working with people. And the glue for me was I liked and I had a gift for explaining and breaking down the technology to people. And because I love the technology and because it just it's in a field that's so important, right? Being in Trinidad now, where we're now transitioning from the old school way of doing a lot of things and we're now trying to get online, the timing for everything has been perfect. Everything is just aligned. And now that I can see my purpose and I've mixed it in with something that I really am passionate about, it was really just for me to just go out and try it, because you know what? Not everybody's going to believe in your vision. When I was getting started with Droid Island, like when I was ready to start building that blog, 3 people told me, that blog and you don't want to sell Samsung or Apple products, you're definitely going to fail. And I just thought to myself, well, how do you know? Like, you guys aren't doing it. You guys haven't tried it. So how would you know? And I just tried it. And after my very first blog I released, the amount of traffic I got, I realized, oh, okay, this was validation that, what you're doing and what you want to talk about and your ideas are needed.
I do want to narrow in on your target market, which is specifically people who are trying to start or in the process of or interested in establishing an online business or something on an e-commerce platform. So I just want to define for people who may not necessarily understand the concept of this world of business online. Like, what is that? Just give for us your definition of what an online business is, and then as well as e-commerce. Like, what does all of it mean?
An online business is, a business that you're strictly pretty much doing online. You may not necessarily have a physical footprint. Like, you could consult and be a 100% digital consultant. You can have a store selling products and there's no physical store. Everything is online. So in general, online businesses is something that you're doing strictly online. E-commerce is very simple. It's just, how you get paid online. It's the act of getting paid online.
What are some of the fundamental requirements to be able to set up an online business?
So first and foremost, a website. Because this is where now the technicalities of the technology are very different. We in Trinidad and the Caribbean don't look at what's happening in any other part of the world. All we ever focus on is what's happening in the U.S. So we focus on the tools that the U.S. is talking about, the platforms the U.S. is talking about, and always forget that these platforms are built for them and who they select to include on those platforms. That being said, your website's so important because we don't have e-commerce integrations for social media here, access to that in the Caribbean. A DM asking you, hey, what's your bank number is not e-commerce, right? It's still an offline transaction. However, if you have a website and you have your products online and I can put my credit card on your website and pay, that is e-commerce. So the number one thing is your website, because that's where all of your e-commerce is going to happen. That's the foundational thing. You don't have that, you're not doing e-commerce here. So you could get away with doing things like send like a digital invoice Like if you're a service-based business and somebody cannot pay that invoice with a credit card, that's e-commerce as well.
Right.
That without having a website, but what has to happen now is I got to talk to you. And I'm a hermit. I don't always want to talk to people. I don't always want to answer my DM. I like to just wake up and say, oh, I made money.
Right.
Right? I made content, you know, someday, whenever the heck I did, you read it, whenever you read it and decided to go on my website, purchase the product with your credit card, I get paid, the product gets delivered to you, we're all happy.
Right. You made money while you were sleeping.
Correct.
Right.
That is where you want to be.
Right.
So that's why that website is so important to have.
Just to take it back a bit with social media, for instance, because I think a lot of people assume that their social media is their money maker. Right? And granted, you can use social media as a marketing tool to be able to generate business in some way.
Yes.
The difference you're saying is that social media versus a website, especially Instagram, Facebook, etc., these platforms that don't facilitate e-commerce, you're actually losing out on an extra avenue or way or means to earn an income if you don't have a website. If you just have a social media and you have no websites.
Social media is perfect for building brand equity, for having a two-way conversation, building your community. But social media should predominantly be used as breadcrumbs to come back to the platforms you own.
Right.
Because the other thing is too is that if you are keeping your brand wholly and solely on social media, you don't own social media.
So if something happens and it crashes.
And it happens.
Yeah.
So we have 2 telecommunications companies in Trinidad, right? One got their IG account banned last summer. Banned, and they had to rebuild their entire IG after getting banned.
Yeah, that's so scary. The fact that you could build all this content and have all this information for like archived for years and years, and one mishap or one crash,
one post,
and that's it.
One copyright
you lose
post,
access complete.
One copyright post. If it could happen, the reason I bring that point up is that if it can happen to the largest of companies,
who are we?
Who are we?
Yeah.
Right? So you don't ever want to keep your brand wholly and solely on social. Understand, it's amazing. We all use it. I use it. That's where people, you know, learn about a lot of my content. But everything should be using as a traffic driver to come back to the platforms you own. There are many people, and I'm sure you know them, where they're popular. They sell clothes, or they do something where they have a business.
Yeah.
And they talk about, yo, we miss messages. Because, well, who has time? There's 3 sides of an inbox on Instagram. Primary, general, and then the filtered. And requests.
Yeah.
And how many people you see requests and you see 100 requests, you're not going through that?
Yeah.
And that's dollars. And you're missing out on money because you just ain't going through all of your DMs.
Yeah.
That's insane. You don't go through it because you have to action it. That means I have to go have a conversation.
Right.
Right? Even if it's a, hey, I seen this top. I want to buy it. Okay, which color? There's 5 different colors.
Yeah, it's a whole conversation.
What size?
Yeah.
And then how are you getting paid? I'm going to give you my bank info, and then you're going to, well, I don't have online banking, so let me go and do a bank deposit. And then I got to come back with the receipt, and then look at the receipt. That's cumbersome.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot can happen. A lot can happen where you send somebody the bank details to pay you, and then they trip and fall as soon as they come out the house. You don't hear from that person for 2-3 weeks.
Or they had to put the wrong number. Miss one number
correct,
in your account.
Correct.
It's
happened.
Situation to run through
and then it's a month before that person gets the money.
Yeah.
Listen, all that has happened, right? Because there's not much content of e-commerce, online business, and the platforms. What happens is people want to do it, but then when they Google, they're getting the content from the U.S. And the U.S. content, people here are not taking it into context.
Yeah.
So what happens is the big question right now is, okay, we know we need a website, right? All right, cool. We Google, the big platforms that come up is Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, WordPress.
Right.
Those are the big ones.
To create the website.
To create the website. People Google, what is the easiest way to build a website? Wix comes up.
Right.
But because you are in the Caribbean and you have read somebody's article in the US, they say it's the easiest. For you, the question that you have to ask yourself when starting a business is the question you're not even thinking about because of where it sits on the funnel. The question that we have to ask ourselves is, how can we get paid from these platforms?
Right.
What are the payment mechanisms for these platforms?
And which one best suits what I need?
And which one best suits what I need? And does it even work here?
Right.
Because the number one problem that people are coming to me with is, I built a website and I have money in my PayPal, and PayPal's telling me I can't get the money. What do I do next?
Yeah.
Like, imagine your money dead. All you need is an email address to set up a PayPal account. First mistake people make is they set it up on the U.S. PayPal and not even on the Trinidad PayPal, because PayPal has different versions of their website for different markets. And again, the functionality is a little bit different for all of them.
Yeah.
But most people set up the U.S. PayPal and they use their Skybox address as a thing. First things first, the minute you do that, you can't even connect a Trinidad Visa debit card to the account, right?
Why?
So, because...
Is it just because of where we located, or they just...
Well, when you set up your account on the U.S. PayPal, it's designed for U.S. accounts.
Right.
So it only wants U.S. information. So then when you put in your U.S. Skybox, it's only looking for the U.S. banks.
Right.
U.S. Visa debit cards or U.S. credit cards, right? You've already started wrong. And that's what 9 out of 10 people are doing.
Right.
So when they do that and they try to go put in their credit card to receive the money or to connect it, it just blocks. So you have this account and you have the PayPal wallet set up, so money can go into the PayPal wallet, but you can't take it out.
Yeah, that's so counterproductive, because it's like, you should ideally ask for the banking the card information first, as in PayPal. They should ask for that information first, so that if they read it through and they detect that it's not one of the U.S. accounts, then they tell you can't set up the account. But they let you go as far as to set up the account, collect money into the account, but then only when it's time to pull out the money, that's when you get flagged to say, well, no, you can't.
Because PayPal offers a variety of services. So they're not going to, like, you could use PayPal, if you're in the U.S., you might not even need to activate a credit card. You could just use the PayPal wallet. You could set up a bank account, right? So you don't even need to use the credit card, but you don't even have to do that, because you can set up the PayPal wallet and you can pay from the PayPal wallet
to your U.S. bank account.
To your U.S. account, or you could pay vendors online with the money in your PayPal.
Right.
But we don't have that option outside of the U.S., right? So again, there's multiple layers to PayPal, right? But when somebody sets this up and they don't enter in their credit card or their bank or their credit card information to receive the money, and now you've decided you're going to go with Wix or you're going to go with Squarespace, and all that money goes into your PayPal wallet, right? So you set it up, you design your website, you're paying your subscription fees for your website, website looking good, looking nice, you launch it, you're selling, all the money's coming in, you're only getting notifications, paying new order, new order, 10K US in the account. And then you're like, wait, how do I get the money out?
Right.
And that's the missing link. We have so many problems where people cannot receive this money, right? So we aren't thinking payments first. We are not looking at the different platforms and understanding how the payments is set up, and if it's something that we can actually receive money from here. And that's one of our biggest mistakes right now.
Is that now something that is a bank, one of the institutions or financial institutions are offering for you to be able to access those PayPal funds now?
Yeah, withdraw the funds. We could have always done it as long as JMB was in Trinidad, which is like 12 years now.
Also, right? JMB is the only bank that currently does that.
So this is the thing, right? This is the thing. There are only three ways to receive money from PayPal. Right, in Trinidad. One, if you want to go to a bank account, JMB, Venture Credit Union, which is also powered by JMB, and now PSCU, as of like 2-3 weeks ago, they got a brand new Visa debit card that you can now accept money on.
What is PSCU?
A credit union as well.
Okay.
Right? You can withdraw the money from PayPal with those 3 ways. Fourth way would be if you have a Visa credit card.
Right.
MasterCard is not allowed to receive funds in the Caribbean. Only Visa, right? But the problem with a credit card is you have a limit. So if your limit is 10,000 TT, you can't deposit more than what your limit is for your credit card. And when you do, they hit you with like an overage fee, right? I've learned the hard way, right? And then to withdraw the money from a credit card.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to use a credit card, right?
Yeah.
So from a bank perspective, if you want PayPal money to go into an actual bank, JMB is the best one to use. If you want to do a credit union, venture credit union or PSCU, and that will allow you to withdraw the funds. PayPal is not a Caribbean company. PayPal is a U.S. company doing what they're doing for their market. We benefit because of PayPal's connection to Visa, and Visa and JMB have their relationship.
Right.
So that's what we're benefiting from, right? However, that being said, if you want to do e-commerce, you want to get paid online, we have Caribbean processors. So you have WiPay. So right now for my website, I have WiPay on my website. And I have, because if you want to register a business account with WiPay, you have to have a registered business. You have to have a registered business account with whoever you are, with whoever you're banking with. So when people pay me through my websites, my business money goes into my local business account.
Right.
I could even, if I want to keep that money in US and generate my own US, WePay and also another company called First Atlantic Commerce, they give you the option of receiving those funds in TT or in US dollars. So if you want to invoice somebody in US or you want to take US payments on your website, once you set up or once you apply for the US bank account, your local US bank account, and the US processor from one of those companies, then you could put US fees on your website, or if you want to send an invoice because you're a service-based business, I could send out an invoice in US, and when I receive it, it receives in my wallet in US dollars, and I deposit the US funds into my US account locally. So you can. It's just through PayPal. PayPal is your limitations with PayPal all around. So
entities like WePay and FAC, for instance, they are local or Caribbean-based companies that basically do what PayPal does, but specifically for the Caribbean markets.
So WePay is based in Trinidad, but they operate in a variety of Caribbean markets.
Right.
FAC is the largest payment facilitator in the Caribbean. They are based out of Bermuda, but they operate throughout the entire Caribbean region.
Right.
And then there's another company called BuzzPay. Same thing. They're locally they're based here, but they operate throughout the Caribbean and Latin America. So we have options to get paid.
Yeah.
Everything is online. WePay does have a physical office here, so you can, if for some reason, now they do everything online, but if for some reason you have to go drop off a document, they do have a physical footprint here as well.
So this is as easy as just going on the websites, WePay websites, FAC's websites, to be able to just, similarly like you would do with PayPal, just create accounts with your email address and then enter your local banking information, and then voila, you have access to be able to start generating funds and being able to access your funds as well locally.
So yes and no. Yes to WePay.
Yeah.
WePay has simplified the process because you could just go online, apply, set up your account with WePay, and once you have your registered business and your business bank account, you're good to go. FAC is a different story. FAC, because FAC is tied to the banks, you have to open up even though you have your business account, you have to open up what is called a merchant account or an e-commerce account at the bank, right?
At not at FAC bank. This is at your normal
bank, your normal local bank. You have to open up a merchant account, right?
Separate from your business.
Separate from your business account. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Then separate account takes about a week to 2 weeks, right? Then after you get the merchant account,
which, by the way, do all local banks facilitate this merchant account?
All local banks, but you're subjected to the approval process. So
which has a pre-qualification process I'm looking through to see if you can even afford to mention.
Remember what you did? Remember what you did for your business account where you had the financials and all? Yeah. You gotta come back with that.
Oh, good Lord.
You gotta come back with that, right? You gotta come back with that, and then they charge you $100 US a month to run the account.
Of the account?
Yes. Ooh. $100 US a month, right? Then after you
your cameraman. So the first thing they even want to watch for is to see if you could even afford to keep $100 US account monthly rental fee every month.
And then, so it's 100 US to open the account. Then you're subjected to the regular 3% per transaction US.
Right.
Plus 25 cents per transaction in US. And then you got to go open the account with FAC.
Right.
Right? After you open the merchant account, right?
Right.
Now, the benefit, people are going to be laughing and saying, nah, I ain't doing that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, right?
It must have a reason why people would. So what is it?
Listen, what WiPay has done was they've simplified the entire process, right? But WiPay now, you have to wait 3 to 7 business days to receive your money in your account, right?
Okay.
Now, some people are like, that's too long. But to set up WiPay is free.
Right.
To integrate WiPay is free. You just get charged per transaction. So there is no monthly fee.
Which sounds fair for like a startup.
Of course.
A small spot, yeah.
Of course. So, and then the fees are all in TT dollars.
Right.
Not in US dollars. However, FAC now, when you start to make your money and you want your cash, you want your money, FAC is same time. FAC is immediate into your bank account. Or next day, depending on the time that you have done the withdrawal.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Which again sounds more feasible for like a medium to large size company that's generating that type of fund.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the thing now is, right, you have to determine where you are in this process.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple years to say, you know what, I think I could afford a little FAC right about now. Let me go and open an account. Let me go through that process, right? But I was not starting there because WiPay, I will wait because it's free. If I don't make no money for the month, then I don't pay.
You're not charged anything.
You're not getting charged, right? But then, this is why I say we have to think payments first. WiPay, FAC only integrate into certain platforms.
Oh, on the website platforms.
On the website platforms. So Squarespace, there's no integration. You are relying on PayPal.
PayPal specifically.
Basically, all those platforms like Shopify, Wix, and Squarespace are closed platforms. Think this is literally iPhone and Android. iPhone is a closed platform, right? There's a lot that has to be done for a certification of your app. It's the same thing with Wix, Shopify, and Squarespace, right? And that process, so like WiPay just launched their Shopify integration 2 weeks ago. They were working on that for like 2 years.
Yeah, okay, I see the point, yeah.
So
you have a rigorous screening process basically to go through to be able to be qualified.
It's money, right? So took them years to get that done, right? Then with WordPress is the equivalent of Android. It's open source.
Right.
Anybody can build anything on WordPress, upload, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So that's why WordPress, the reason I preach WordPress to everybody, there's all these great platforms. Wix is good. Squarespace is good. Shopify is really good. But WordPress has no friction.
You have so much control over what you could do with WordPress. Yeah.
There's no restrictions on getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't care if Wix is easier to build a website. If I can't get paid, I don't have a business.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And WordPress is easy. You just need to know what WordPress is about and how it works. So WordPress has all of the payment facilities. And it's easy, the easiest integration, the least headache out of all those platforms.
Right.
So that not every platform has the integrations in with FAC or WiPay, and that will dictate, you know, whether you can use the platform or not.
There was one other one that I saw you mention in one of your posts on Instagram. So you guys go check him out as well on Instagram because he drops a lot of really good tidbits and nuggets there as well. Social Pay.
Yes.
Social Pay was one, and then what's the one you just mentioned?
Figaro. So Social Pay. So shout out to my guy Stefan. So Stefan is the CEO behind Social Pay, right? And we work together. He's a developer, and he builds apps and tools, payment tools. So Social Pay, what Stefan did was he realized, you know, people are complaining, I can't get paid on Wix, I can't get paid on Shopify. So he linked up with Alden at WiPay and took their API and built a bit of a hack for Wix and Squarespace. The problem is that it's not a full integration. It's a hack to allow you to get paid, but it's a manual process. And if you are into e-commerce, we're getting away from the manual processes, right? So he built it again because there is a rigorous integration process, and he just built a hack. If you are somebody in a jam, Social Pay is there that you can use, but again, it's a manual process to get paid on those platforms.
Right.
Not the best, and most people are not going to go and do it, but it's an option. And Figaro is a Caribbean-based company, and they have built the equivalent of Shopify for the Caribbean.
Oh.
So they have a Shopify-like platform where you have this online store. You can pick templates, very easy to use. They integrate for payment processing, FAC and PayPal, right? But then they take it a step further and they allow for integrations with DHL, FedEx, UPS for logistics. So you now have this one package where you have the full scope for an e-commerce business. So I have a product, I jump on Figaro, I throw up a very easy online store to start selling my products. I get paid, the money goes into my account same day. DHL gets a notification, order just came in, they come to my house, pick up the product, ship it anywhere across the world.
Right.
Right? So they've built a very nice platform that allows for seamless integration. It's just, you got to have the money you have to have the money to sustain that, because FAC is a price.
Yeah.
Figaro is a subscription price. So you got to be making some change.
Is WiPay part of their integration as well?
No,
Figaro?
they haven't. Nah.
Okay.
They haven't integrated this yet.
Okay, there's so many questions I have now in relation to this. This is crazy. And again, it's amazing that you took the time to actually. I mean, you were going through the mill of it, so you had no choice but to absorb this information.
Exactly,
But that you chose the route of being able to make this palatable. You even did it in the form of the academy, right? The Digipreneur Academy, and I want you to share with people, especially the viewing audience who they've come this far in the podcast, because it's very valuable information you're sharing. Why you decided to do that?
And I learned very early too. I learned SEO and I learned the tools of SEO. And the beauty of the SEO tools is that,
just for people who may not know what that
search engine optimization, right? So this is like the language that the platforms like Google, Bing, Yahoo, this is the language that they understand or they use to figure out what is happening online. Their bots can crawl your website, understand what it is, so that way when you, the Googler, the searcher, when you type in, hey, who is the Prime Minister of Trinidad? And Wikipedia comes up. That's because Google
the
bot
included in that was already analyzed
and served up on a platter. So Google knew what to do and served you with it, right? So when I learned how to use those tools, the tools that I found basically show me everything that people are asking for. So I can type in keywords or type in my niches and see every single thing people are Googling in Trinidad in a specific duration.
Right.
So when I see in everybody's questions
and
I'm like, yo, this is like, people want to know how to top up.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna write about how to top up. They want to know if you could run a business from 2 cell phones. I'm gonna write about it. And I realized that, yo, the more I looked at the data, see what people want, and provided the answers, that catapulted me into the thought leadership space very, very early. The expertise comes in the doing and your body of work, right? Nobody would be talking to me if I never built Droid Island. Droid Island is my body of work, and all of the other companies I've been able to work with is my body of work. So the fact that all of my results are on display, and people have, as you said before, people have seen me grow over the years, it's now people can come and be like, oh, it makes sense because he had to do all of this, and this is what he did. So now that he's teaching us how he did everything, we can believe it. So the content marketing part of it is me showcasing the ins and outs. I will always show people, I will always do for free through my content, the what to do, the why to do it. I charge for the how to do it, right? And it's funny because there are posts where I'll use IG stories a lot because they disappear, but I will show a lot of the how I'm doing it in the IG stories. And then people will turn around and be like, hey, I seen exactly what you did.
But I need to see that. I needed more one-on-one.
I need you to hold my hand.
Yeah.
So what's your cost? You hold my hand and let's do this together. And you still get paid.
Strategy for your money.
There you go, right? Us having a lack of resources to go and learn how to do these things is the opportunity gap for us as
Yeah.
creatives, regardless of your industry. So the workshops are cool because the workshops are still going to provide a nice intimate setting. There's a lot of things that will be easier to teach if I could be over your shoulder, right? But again, we're still limited to what we can do
in person. Yeah,
Correct.
If you capture that and you film that and you package that into an online workshop series, for instance,
There you go.
it's a product that you can sell.
You can
Yeah.
you can definitely resell that. So based on that, I'm providing those resources, and then it's providing me as Mr. Relevant with the content that I'm putting out, and that's how I'm getting everybody into the funnel. And then I have the tools there to systemize everything so people can get to the email list, they can purchase the products, whatever. That funds me, that allows me to keep on going and create more content. So it's one big digital sales funnel.
Like, who would have thought just, a guy who's just passionate about tech and all things digital would have come to this point where he just have all these products and information. Like, you've actually sold me, I might come and do a coaching session with you. I might book you and say, all right, Keron, I've decided, tell them how to work it out, So I'm sure people who are looking on are probably going to think the same. And guys, you can access the information, everything that he's talking about here in more detail via his website. Give us the information on how people can access you and all this valuable information that you're giving us.
The number one way to find me is just Google Keron Rose. That's the number one way.
KaronRose.com? Is that how you have it? Or
the website is KaronRose.com, but if you Google just Keron Rose, you will see every single platform that I'm involved in. But you could find me on social media. It's Keron Rose everywhere on all of my platforms, the website. And those are the best places to reach and to continue to learn from me.
Yeah, Keron, I think you are doing an exceptional job in informing people like myself and just the general community who's looking for this type of information with really, really good, solid advice. This is not going to be your last time. Trust me, I'm going to have you back because I'm sure people are going to probably flood us with more questions about this.
Yeah.
But in the interim, guys, you can go check him out on social media and on his website or Google KaronRose.com. Really great stuff. He has a podcast. He has the academy. He has a lot of different digital products and services that you guys can benefit from. So tune in for what he has coming up next and tune in to what we have coming up next on Business One-on-One. We still have a few more episodes where we would feature some more experts like Keron, hopefully of that standard and the value of information that Keron is sharing with us today. So thank you guys for watching and staying this far into this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one.